Mental Health Monday.
Readjusting. Most people are happy with what they have, right? And that means that when you come to the realization about stuff like that, you have to learn to not be happy with what you've already been happy with. And you have to be brave in accepting what may come of this now that things have to change. Because one of those situations, like, yeah, I saw it, so I can't really unsee that. Like, you telling someone, hey, I want pineapple on my pizza, and they got you olives, and you're like, that's not. I said pineapple. So, oh, it's a vegetables. Nah, you missing it.
I think it's like really tough balancing act to realize like when the work is like internal and personal, and then how that applies to the people who are around you, and like maintaining, because it's like I think perception is something that I think about a lot lately, like my own perception, and also like shifts in how others perceive me, not just like at the side of the internet, but like also like, you know, I think 2020 was a time where just a lot of the ways that we had access to each other changed. And I think I'm still like processing that a lot, because like for me, when I went into sort of like the quarantine and just sort of like really not seeing people, I was really like limited in that. I started having these thoughts where I was like, I don't want people to perceive me the way that I feel like they do. Like I want to, when I come back out into the world, I want to look different, be perceived differently. And I like had to do a lot of work around, first of all, realizing that you can't control how people perceive you.
Yeah.
And then it's like, you know, so there's like a lot of work that I have to do in my personal relationships where we have to, like you said, like if you call people after or just talk later to be like, so what was actually present in this space? What were we actually doing? How are you actually feeling? What's the context of where you were coming from in that moment? And I think too that like, you know, there's a lot of people in my life right now who are like sober or sober curious, like also realizing and pulling down like how a lot of these like different interactions we have with folks when we're on substances, if like, you know, you're hanging out with the homies and you're like smoking or like you've had a few drinks, like, you know, in the music world too, like in Philly, a lot of these newer connections with people I'm making, I'm like, we're in the dark. You've had 3 drinks. I've maybe had a beer or something. I'm like, the way these things are like mediating our connection and our dynamic is something that, are we ever going to talk about this? Because I'm like, for me, I need balance and I need to, like I need to create spaces from vulnerability with you through communication and like clear communication. Like, so I think I've really been trying to, just think about how my own perception shifts and changes, and like, you know, other people's perceptions of me, and just like, how do we like meet in the middle? How do we actually encourage that space where it's like, like I know you hear me and I hear you, and like we're actually bonding, we're actually connecting, as a supportive place to talk about like what you're going through.
Yeah. That was great.
This is processing.
And I think when it comes to stuff like that, a lot of artists are naturally dreamers. To me, artists are naturally dreamers. So I think for a lot of those folks, there's this assumption that, no, this is how I have to be for the thing that I've dreamed about, because this is how I envisioned it. And for folks like you, it's like, but what if I told you there's another side? What if I told you we could actually sit down at the party or the event and be sober the whole time and still be able to have the good time without an outside substance? What if I told you doing that isn't necessarily adulting, and maybe it could come with the package that comes before adulting and understanding the people around you? Because chances are when people meet at that party or those events, there's this assumption that you have to always be that kind of person when you're around them. And it's like, no, my artistry is deeper than that. And me as a person, my artistry is just an extension of my expression. So if my expression always has to come with a tall glass of beer, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do the upkeep for that imagery that you see me as.
Yeah.
Like you do have to make space for the other side that people have to offer. Like, don't hit me with the "you used to be fun." No, I didn't used to be fun. I'm exactly who I was when you met me. That may have been a different layer of the onion, but welcome to 11-7. That's it.
Yeah.